Well, there's a lot going on. Things are constantly in, flow. Changes are basically coming every day as new policy memorandums get rolled out by the present administration. Today, we were actually just notified that I guess there will be an update to certain forms like the N400, the I-485, and a couple others, where people are going to have to include their social media handles. And the purpose of this, according to the memorandum, is to assess whether or not the individual is admissible to the United States, which, if you put two and two together, probably means your socials are now going to be getting reviewed. And if there's something in there that the officers reviewing the case doesn't like, it could lead to issues. So that's, one of the new things that we're dealing with now. In an ever-evolving, atmosphere for immigration. The other big change is, which just kind of happened fairly recently, is it looks like there will be a re-implementation of the notice to appear, the NTA, for denials for individuals that are placed out of status by virtue of the denial. If anyone was a part of immigration, U.S. immigration in the past, this was actually a tactic that the Trump administration had tried in 2018, I believe. They had basically tacked on NTAs, notice to appears, at the bottom of a denial, and in essence said, you're now in a removal, a deportation proceeding, and this is your notice to appear. The process didn't work because it wasn't really well thought out. The NTAs were often problematic. They failed to contain the necessary information to qualify as notice to an individual, and the policy just didn't work and it went away. The reintroduction of this policy, it's problematic for starters because it places people who have immigrated legally to the United States, undergone it, inspection and admission. It places them now in a category where they're supposed to be subjected to, removal, deportation, basically something that in the past wasn't really logical. The people who came to the country, who entered the U.S. and were inspected and admitted with proper documentation, and inevitably, eventually through the process, for whatever reason, ended up going out of status. There's always been leeway for those individuals. Now, yes, the individual's out of status, but for the most part, if they're able to find a way back into status, or they were allowed to travel out of the United States and then they could re-enter on a different visa, these were all kind of options. When you introduce the notice to appear, the NTA, it muddies the waters and creates a different process where you're basically putting people from, work style, business immigration visas, student visas, things like that, moves them into a bucket that traditionally they were not supposed to be in. And we're going to have to see how the process plays out. We'll see if there's, litigation or how these cases end up coming out as they proceed forward. But at the end of the day, it's not beneficial overall, I think, for immigration. I think it's very odd to think that the people that, the administration wants to target are people that are in the country legally, people who are obtaining degrees or have obtained degrees and are performing highly skilled positions with reputable organizations. So we'll see as that data starts to come in because, I haven't actually seen one of these NTAs. There's only been the policy on it. But we'll have to see it as it comes in and how it evolves and how it's utilized by the administration.